Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. Hope all of you are doing well. Gotta kind of keep my voice low a little bit because everybody else in the house is asleep. So I can't be too loud. But I think this right here, like this tone I'm speaking at, this is a good tone. I hate to speak quiet. It's not my nature to speak quiet. I have a loud voice. So this is a challenge. Anyways, before we jump into it, I gotta hydrate. Ah, all right, man. That feels good. You gotta stay hydrated, man. It's really important. So many people fall short of that, man. It's insane. So many people, they'll go their whole day and they will not have like a single cup of water. They'll have like a little bit here and there, but it's nowhere near what they need to have. Anyways, there's a picture of me when I was in high school. That's my senior photo. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know why I pointed that out. Anyways, man, let's jump into it. So I went out last night for New Year's Eve. And to make a long story short, I've had way better New Year's Eves. This one was kind of ass, alright? I'll be honest. It was kind of ass. Anyways, pretty much what happened is I met up with some old coworkers. I used to work with, used to work with like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And when I'm back in town for the holidays, I typically meet up with these people because a lot of my friends, they take off, they go back home, they're not around. So these are some people that I have to hang out with. And so I meet up with them downtown at this one club called the Capitol. And it's this club, it goes underground. You take these stairs down, and they've got a dance floor, and they've got a bar, and they've got a pool table, and some seating and whatnot. But it's underground, so it's kind of cool. And so we get there, and there's a line out the door because it's packed. It's New Year's Eve. Anyways, we get there, I meet them, and I say hello to everybody. Some people were really happy to see me. A couple of them, though, they kind of gave me the shoulder of indifference. It's like they didn't really care that I was there. And I find this odd because in the past, these two people were normally pretty excited to see me. But I guess for them, that lore or whatever the right word to describe that, I guess that's no longer there. It was weird. I had to say hi to them too in order for them to say hi to me. So in the group, overall, I got mixed vibes. So it wasn't the best group to be hanging out with. Anyways, we get down to the club. It's a $10 entrance fee. We get in there, I pay. And then once I get in there, it's just weird. Everybody's just standing around, waiting for something glorious to happen because it's New Year's Eve. They're all sipping on their overpriced drinks. The choice of music they were playing was ass. I've gone to this place before, and they've played way better music on just like a random Friday night. And I go up to the bar, and there's this one chick. She was pretty hot. And she starts warming up to me and asking my name and all these questions, making it look like she's into me. And I'm not going to lie, I started to get a little warmed up to her too. And I go for a drink, and I realize that she's trying to bum me for a free shot. I say one shot, and she's like two. I say no, one. Then I asked her, just to kind of test things out here, to come to the dance floor with me. In which she said maybe. And then I realized, yeah, she was just trying to get me for free drinks. I'm glad I realized that when I realized it. I declined. Anyways, the night was short. I'm walking around this place, don't know what the fuck I'm doing here. Not enjoying myself. It's loud, right? Everybody's standing around just being awkward. At one point, I try to rally the troops up, right? Do this. And they're just like giving these like these just lazy stares. I'm like, man, fuck this. So I go upstairs and I just chill outside in the cold with somebody else. For the rest of the night. That was it. Didn't go back in the club. But I got the memo last night. I got the memo. And the memo I got last night is some things that I've had for a while now, it's maybe time to move on from maybe that crowd I was with last night, though I've had some good times with them in the past, may not be the crowd that I should hang with anymore. And it's not all of them. Some of them are really cool, some of them are really nice, some of them I would have no problem seeing again. But others, we can go our own separate ways. And I can kind of feel that energy. It's kind of hard to explain, but hopefully I'm getting my point across okay. And so I went for a walk today on New Year's Day, and I gathered some thoughts. And I got inspired, and I wanted to write a piece. So I wrote it down, and we're going to read it to you guys tonight. And we'll discuss a little here at the end, and come to our own conclusions. I call this, and maybe this is too long of a title, I haven't written anything in a long time. I used to write a lot in my journal back in the day, and then I just fell out of it. And so this is kind of something I'm trying to get good at again. Because I like writing, I do kind of have a strong suit for it, but regardless if you are natural at something or good at something, you leave it sitting for a while, it's going to gather dust. So I'm a little dusty, so bear with me on this one. I call this accepting, understanding, and leaving the past behind, and the courage to move forward. It starts here. A new year has been bestowed upon us. Today, all across the world, billions of different souls awaken from their slumbers, some joyful, some depressed, others drunken still, while some are filled with that overflowing glory to grab the world by its nuts in 2024. Going into this new year, many of us are still defined, held back by, or discouraged by our own varying past negative experiences. We are paralyzed by our failures, our shortcomings, and we are no strangers to berating our own mental health when comparing our life experiences to our peers. Many years have gone by where we started off with intention of making the new year an opportunity for a new life. But through inaction and a lack of clear intention, the doubt of our past failures seeped through, allowed our own fall to fear, and we let our demons win. Well, it is now 2024. Up to this point, many years have gone by where we have allowed ourselves to sheepishly live without the things we desire. We have suffered in quiet desperation for what seems to be an eternity, and we have watched, silently, those with more heart take what we have believed to be ours. We have settled, accepted our lousy lot in life, done things for others not to our liking, hung with people that don't inspire us, been with women we are not attracted to, and all the while, with that desire for a greater life burning deep within us, accepted all of it with a pathetic yet deep cry for help. I'm fine, this will do. This path in life that many of us have led, unfortunately, does not have to make its own end. Oh, hold on. Let me repeat that. Let me repeat that there. It says here, this path in life that many of us have led, unfortunately, does not have or make its own end. There we go. It only ends by the power of our own will. We have to be the ones that change the trajectory of our life and its story. We are the captains of our own ship. Through our will come the revolutionizing moments that will shape the lives that we desire and deserve. Because we do deserve these lives, and you deserve greater than what you have. But we must put the effort and the reps in to earn our slice of paradise. We must shed the old and burn the dead wood. This year, we must finally have the true courage to move forward. We must accept that our past are, well, our past, and nothing much else. We can only learn from our role we played within them, and that how things fared out is the fault of our own. As hard of a pill as that can be to swallow, it is the only statement you need to hear on this matter. You are and you were the constant denominator in all your life's experiences. You, whether through fear, complacency, or other decisions of your own, chose to stay in that place you were. Letting go of these past negative experiences can be tough. I know they can. In trying to move forward with all this baggage, you seem to have attached to your past self while also comparing yourself to the peers that seem to be ahead of you is an entirely other different challenge. That part I didn't write that too well. We'll move past that. I struggle with this. So I said here, in trying to move forward with all this baggage you seem to have attached to your past self, while it also seems that most of your peers are ahead of you, is an entirely different challenge. Okay, it was kind of hard to read, but onwards. I struggle with this too. It's the reason I chose to take down to the journal to write this stuff down. I too am often at war with my past self and my identity as a young adult today. But the challenge here is an attainable one. Many before have climbed this mountain. Many are climbing it as I sit here, writing and reading this. Maybe you're even climbing it right now. If all those people could do it, you and I definitely could do it as well. I'll give you the fair treatment. Maybe your upbringing wasn't normal. Maybe you grew up in a broken house with parents divorced or always fighting. Maybe someone in your family died, or you got sick or hurt, taking away that vitality that most others your age had, making you feel alone and ostracized. Maybe you weren't socialized properly as a kid, and you've struggled as a result of that as you're an adult. Maybe you lacked a solid group of friends in your teens that could have helped create more positive experiences and opportunities that would have laid a solid framework for you in your 20s. That's where my struggle has been. Whatever the case, we have to accept our lives. We were always in the mix. Whatever the case is, though, we have to accept our lives. We were always in the mix. And even though our environments or people that influenced us weren't always the most optimal, we also allowed ourselves to stay there most of the time. Now comes the new challenge. The challenge that all of us need to embrace to make this satisfactory change. This is the challenge of accepting your past experiences for what they were and creating that burning desire within you to forge your new path. It is the courage that moves forward. It is the courage to move forward. For many, this sounds simple, and it is simple in its own context, but simple is not easy. And for most, making this change is not easy. Letting go of our past with the willingness to walk a new path is a start from nothing reality for many of us. Many of us haven't stacked those wins yet that help give us confidence. We don't yet have those experiences, and it really is like stepping out into uncharted territory. But until the uncharted terrain is mapped in our lives, we won't have exciting stories to share, gems to be found, ventures to be made, lovers to be had, and treasures to dig up. One has to be willing to take risks, those big or small, to build a life they are proud of. So let's get to it. The world and its people are out there, waiting for us to make our mark, our impression, to claim our slice of paradise. All it takes is the courage to move forward. And that's it. The courage to move forward. The courage to move forward. Because it does take courage. And it's not easy leaving past negative experiences that you have been so defined by your whole life, to leave those behind. It's tough. But it has to be done. And here's the thing, man. Those things, those negative things that happened to you in the past, those negative experiences, these ways that you were when you were younger, I mean, it's not ever going to go away. You're never going to forget that. That's not really what I'm getting here. It's just that you have to, because it's always going to be there, you know? It's always going to be there. And you have to, more or less what I'm saying here is you just have to just wipe the slate clean. You have to acknowledge your past and you have to accept it. Because so many of us, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, we're defined by our past. And we walk around with this person that we were in the years past hanging above us, and having it dictate how we go about our lives today, even though if we were to really sit down and take a look and compare ourselves now to who we were then, there's probably a lot of change that we've gone through, and we've come a long way since then. But we don't do that a lot of the time. We don't compare ourselves to the guy that we were yesterday. We compare ourselves to others. We compare ourselves to our peers. And here's the thing. In this life, you're not going to go without that. That's going to happen. It's something that is natural. And if you're somebody that wants more out of life and you're not satisfied with where you are or what you have, you're gonna compare. I mean, you almost have to compare. I mean, how else are you going to get an idea of what you want at least? You're going to have to look at somebody at least who displays somewhat of an example that you want to display for yourself. And so, comparison, yes, it is the thief of joy, but it's also something that we have to do at the same time. But even if it's something that we have to do and can have its benefits, I think most of the time it's bad for your mental health, because everybody moves at their own speed in life. Everybody, is successful at different times and in different places. And it's a different process for everybody. Similar but different, But the only person you can compare yourself to is who you were yesterday. Go back, get a picture of yourself 5 years ago, 2 years ago even, and look at yourself then and look at yourself now. If you don't like what you see now, well then, you got to get to work on that. But for a lot of you guys out there, you're probably going to find a picture of yourself from a few years back, and you're going to look at it, and you're going to be like, man, that was me? I didn't realize that was me. And this is me now? Well, gee, I still have a long way to go, but I've also come a long way as well. And that feels good to know that. Straighten this out. And so this is all about just the courage of leaving your past behind. I get it, man. I know that for a lot of you guys out there, in your teens, in your early 20s, maybe you're going through it right now. They were just low times. And you felt weird and you felt ostracized and isolated from your peers. Maybe you had a really tough upbringing. Your parents got divorced. Somebody might have abused you. Maybe there was something that was really traumatic that happened. You lost your friend or a family member. You lost a parent. Maybe you got sick, and that took away all that vitality that most of your peers shared, and you felt alone and ostracized. I get it. I wrote about that just in that thing that I just read to you. But having the courage to move forward is all that matters. Having the courage to move forward is all that matters. And so how do you move forward, man? Well, and what do you move forward on? I think that you have to identify the thing that you've been avoiding for so long, that you should be doing. But you've been avoiding it because you're afraid of rejection, or you're afraid of, embarrassment. Or hell, man, you could even be afraid of it working out, and then it working out, and now you have a new challenge on your hands. Now you don't know what to do, You've been so used to living this way in your life without this thing, and now you have this thing, and now you have a whole new level of responsibility. Maybe you aren't ready for that. And if you aren't, then that's something you have to work on too. That's something you have to get to the bottom of. And so whatever that thing is, man, that's the thing that you need to do. And I always say, listen, when you're going to do that thing, when you're walking into that interview, when you're going to talk to, you know, this person or that person that can, you know, really change your life in whatever venture that you choose to immerse yourself in, okay? When you're going to talk to that girl, when you're going to summit that mountain, when you're looking at it and you're going to summit it, understand that those feelings that you fear, they're normal. That those feelings that you feel, that nervousness, and you know, all that stuff, it's normal. It's normal, and it's only there because you haven't done it before. Your body's not used to it. But that's what you have to do. There's only one way forward. There's a book I just saw, and its title is, I'd have to go back and look because I saw it on my phone, but I think this would be a good read. Something to do with how the way through is what feels worse. Something like that. And so that's it, man. Courage. 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 Leave it behind. Leave the past behind. Move forward. Accept it. Learn from it. And now that you know, now you can do better. Now you can do better. All right. The courage to move forward. That's what I want to see in all of our lives in 2024. Happy New Year and good night. Take care.